course, one is Bill.
Hey everybody, we'll get started here in a little bit, just letting a few more people filter into the meeting. Hey Bill. Hey Courtney.
Hello, how are you?
Made it.
Thanks for having me on this.
No problem. All right, everybody. We'll probably have a few more people filter in, but we'll get started just in essence to keep everybody. I know you're taking time out of your personal schedules to be here, so we appreciate that. But let's get going. So my name is Scott Carter. I'm the Executive Vice President for Saber, and want to welcome each and every one of you to this new member experience meeting. We host this every single month, so if for some reason I don't answer a question, or you want to come back and revisit it and see if I do a better job next month, feel free to come back. It seems like we get better every time we do this, but the purpose of this meeting is really just to kind of show you some of the ins and outs of your membership profile and how you can access different parts of your account, and then also take a tour of the Saber website and some of the membership resources that we have available to you as new Saber members. So we know that Saber can be kind of an overwhelming place at times. There's a lot of information to digest. There's a lot of different pieces and parts to it. So we want to make sure that we're giving you the tools to make the most out of your membership, and let you know that we're here to help. So if you ever have any questions, we want to make sure that we direct you to whether it's your chapter leadership or research committees or just somebody that we know within Saber that can help you with a particular inquiry or somewhere where you want to go. So I think in my humble opinion, above all else, Saber is a community of just really passionate baseball fans. We all have that in common. We all love baseball. That's the guiding unifying piece that we all have in common. So I know everybody hates icebreakers, so I don't want to make this too painful, but we do it every month, and it's just an easy way for everybody just to get to know each other a little bit. This is, you folks all joined during the same month, so you've got that in common as well. So hopefully you can have some contacts to carry forward with you. So what I'd like to do is just quickly bounce around the Zoom and just real easy, tell us your name and where you're from and who your favorite major league club is. So pretty easy. I will go ahead and start before I just kind of go around the room. So like I said, my name is Scott Carter. I grew up in Los Angeles County, Southeast LA County, in a city called Downey. I'm a lifelong Los Angeles Dodgers fan, and I just saw that these New York Mets somehow just defeated the San Francisco Giants in extra innings. So the fact that I'm rooting for the Giants to lose every single night in August still is beyond me, but it's going to be an exciting month and a half for us Dodger fans. But that's my story. I would like to go to, let's see, we have actually 3 very special guests on this call. So we have 2 of our board members who are sitting in today. And it's always great to have the board members on this call, just so, I mean, you all know as members that they appreciate you. We all appreciate you as new members, but they're also that they're here as resources if you ever need anything. So Mr. Bill Nallon, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself? Oh, you're muted, Bill. Bill, you're muted.
I better start over again.
There we go.
You think I know by this time. That's board, BOARD, board members. I've been a board member for quite a few years. I live in the Boston area. This guy right there is Ted Williams. He's my favorite player of all time. And I happen to be geographically a Red Sox fan and otherwise. And I just here like to welcome those of you who are new, and I think you'll find that most people, board members, chapter leaders, and so forth, are willing to go out of their way to help. I hope you'll have that same experience. That's what I had, and I still call on members for help.
Awesome, thank you, Bill. And let's see, our next board member on this call, Miss Allison Levin, who is trying to curry my favor by wearing a Dodgers shirt tonight.
Kershaw, if you know me, you get to know me, you'll know that I am somewhat obsessed with Clayton Kershaw. I am counting down the days till he comes off the IL. But
Same.
yeah. I am born and raised in St. Louis. I am thus required by St. Louis law to be a Cardinals fan. I went away to school for college and became friends with a lot of Dodgers fans. So my second team is the Los Angeles Dodgers. Generally, they don't come into conflict with each other. As Scott and I were talking before the call started, this may be a year where that does happen in the wild card game, and I will be stressed. But that is my story. As Bill said, all of us on the board are more than willing to help you whenever you need help. Just reach out. You can find us. Scott will show you how you can find us on the website. And we all have different passions and different skills, and we're more than willing to help you however we can.
Awesome. Thank you, Allison. Thank you, Bill. Next, I wanted to introduce, I'm not going to put her on the spot too much, but Miss Courtney Baker is joining us, and Courtney's actually going to be joining the Saber staff next month. So this is, and I'm going to pass this baton to her to handle a lot of these meetings. So she can tell me how bad of a job I'm doing, and when she takes over, she can do a better job. But Courtney, all you got to do is just tell us where you're from, who your club is, and then you can sit back and just enjoy like everybody else.
Perfect. Well, hi, everyone. I am so excited. This is my first Saber thing, so I'm so excited to be a part of it. I am from Scottsdale, Arizona. Well, born in Seattle, but grew up in Scottsdale. So I'm so excited to move back home. The movers are actually coming 2 weeks from today to move all my stuff to Arizona. And then I'm moving halfway through one of our home stands. I'm currently in Reno working for the Reno Aces, so AAA for the Diamondbacks. So with that being said, my favorite major league organization is the Diamondbacks. Unfortunately for me this season, the Aces do have more wins than the Diamondbacks though, with a month less of games. So I'm holding on to that right now. But D-backs, I've been a fan for as long as I can remember.
Awesome. Thanks, Courtney. We're excited to have you. Let's just go around to our new members. So I'm just going to go in kind of order of who popped up on my screen. So why don't we start with Phil Angelo. Why don't you tell us where you're from and who your club is?
I'm Phil Angelo, Kankakee, Illinois, hour south of Chicago. Chicago White Sox guy, Chicago American Giants Negro League.
Very cool. Very cool. We actually just had a great panel during our last virtual event about the American Giants. So it was a really, really cool presentation.
And
Welcome,
next year we have a book coming out, a Sabre book on the 1920 Chicago American Giants.
There you go, Phil. Signed up just in time.
Yep.
Very good. Very good. Well, welcome, Phil. Let's go to Don DeVore. Why don't you tell us where you're from and who your club is?
Yeah, hi, Don DeVore, Columbus, Ohio. Grew up outside Chicago, lifelong Cub fan. Also like the Sox. That's good for this year, I guess. So.
It's always good to diversify. My dad always told me you could have an AO club and an NL club. So just.
Yep.
All right, Helen Edwards, why don't you tell us where you're from and who your club is?
Okay, I'm from Victoria, British Columbia in Canada, and
Welcome.
I am a lifelong Seattle Mariners fan. My parents were season ticket holders, even though they lived in Victoria, and that club has treated them extremely well, and so I'm committed to them for life. But I was actually born a Dodgers fan because my dad hated the Yankees, and in those days there was only Dodgers. There was only Brooklyn and New York. So yeah, and my favorite player of all time was Sandy Koufax. So yeah, that tells you how old I am. I actually saw him pitch his last regular season game.
Wow,
so
that's awesome.
that was a big road trip. I think I was 20 at the time. So yeah, that was my thrill.
Very cool. Well, thanks for joining us, Helen. Welcome. Let's go to Ted Thompson.
Hi, Ted Thompson, Dayton, Ohio. So I was 9 and 10 years old in the height of the Big Red Machine, 1975, 76. We were also blessed with a couple of Hall of Fame sports writers in Hal McCoy and Cy Burek. in addition to the Reds, who I'm hoping can catch the Padres, maybe play the Dodgers in the wild card, because I don't think we're catching Milwaukee. So I'm interested in locally. So we have the Dayton Dragons minor league team where I have season tickets to, and we've sold out every game since 2000. So we're working on 21 straight years of sellouts, and also from a Negro League perspective, also interested in the Dayton Marcos and kind of how they fit into the history of the Negro League as well.
Very cool. Very, very cool. Very cool. Thank you, Ted. All right, let's go to Bill. Where are you from? Who's your club?
Hi, I'm Bill Slankard. I'm in Arlington Heights, Illinois, and I'm a Cub fan. I'm also returning to Saber. I originally joined in 1983. I was in for about 20 years, and then life happened, and now I'm back. I'm happy to be here.
Well, welcome back. Life happens as it's wont to do, but welcome back. We're glad to have you back. And then last but not least, John Whitty, why don't you bring us home?
Sure. Hey, everybody. John Whitty. I am originally from Des Moines, Iowa, and live here still after having relocated. So I am a Cardinals fan by birth. Spent some time out in DC, so grew up watching the Orioles, and they were my team. My fandom has taken quite a bit of a backseat in the last couple of years, but sorry, I think I got cut off there.
You're fine.
But yeah, I before I moved back to Des Moines, I actually lived about 10 minutes away from Dodger Stadium. So I was a frequent Dodger fan back when it was easy, and the Cardinals used to beat them in the playoffs, and so it was a very easy relationship for a little while there. But excited to be part of Saber.
Awesome. Well, welcome to everybody. What's up, Bill?
Let me add one thing for Helen. We also have another book coming out next year that's on Canadian baseball. It's timed for the annual event of the Canadian Baseball Hall of Fame next summer.
Very, very cool. Very cool. I think, Allison, correct me if I'm wrong, this might be the only time that we didn't have any Yankee fans. Sullying our meeting.
We had a lot of Cubs fans. I was getting a little worried with the Cubs fans, but I think Dodgers still win.
I just like I like it. I like it that way. Well, everybody, welcome. Hopefully that wasn't too painful. Just getting to share a little bit about your background. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take a tour of your Saber account. So I'm going to share my screen and y'all just kind of follow along. Holler if you've got any questions. I'm going to be doing a lot of talking, and I tend to talk on the fast side. So if you have any questions about anything and you don't get to ask them during this meeting, feel free to email me or give me a call. Excuse me. I'm happy to answer any questions that I glossed over or you want me to dive more in depth to. But we'll get going here and see how far we can get. So I'm going to share my screen. All right. Can everybody see that? The obligatory, can you see my screen once I share it? Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to start with logging into your Saber account. So if you head to saber.org, which is our wonderful homepage, up in the top right hand corner, you're going to see this member login button, and you want to click on that. And it's going to take you to this page, which is our members hub. And this is kind of the main page for our members. And clicking on any of these buttons, it's going to ask you to sign in. So I always just like to sign in and get going here. Sign up with your credentials here. If you ever have any issues logging in, you forgot your password, don't know what your username is, we're always here to help. It's pretty easy to reset your password if you forget it, but we're always here to help you. So we can reset your password if you really can't figure it out. I've got all my stuff saved, so I'm going to go ahead and sign in. So once you sign in, well, actually, I'm going to back out for a second. Once you sign in and you're onto this page, we're going to talk about the different things on your members homepage. So you've got your members home, which is kind of your nuts and bolts of things you want to learn about. Event registration. So when we start doing member events like our analytics conference or annual convention, these are great places to be able to register for events. And then our research resources, which we'll dive into a little bit, which are member only resources that you can find here on this page. First, we are going to actually go into our profile. So if you're on this page and you see my profile right here, we're going to click on that. And this is a great place where you can update all of your contact information if you haven't done so already. The Sabre member directory is one of the biggest benefits that we have. So you can actually search for different members that might have similar interests to you or similar backgrounds or might live in a similar area. So that's a great place to start. So if you've got all your updated contact information here, if you've got your address, if you've got your research interest and expertise filled out, people will be able to search for you and contact you if they wanted to connect on anything. So we're going to actually go to that directory button right here. So if you're up here just above your profile picture and you click on directory, this is a great way to meet people with similar interests. So if I were to, you can search for terms, you can search for names. So say I want to search for the New York Yankees because I made fun of them earlier. So let's give them some love and see if there's anybody who lists the New York Yankees as an interest. I'm sure there'll be quite a few. So we've got a bunch of folks here that list the Yankees as interest. So if you click on any of these folks, here's Marty Appel, our good friend. You can click on Marty's information and be like, hey, I want to email Marty about a question I have about the Yankees in the early 80s. And everybody's usually pretty good about responding and being a helpful resource as a Sabre member. So that's our directory. Fun to play around with that. The next thing I'm going to show you is this tab up here called Groups. If you click on the Groups page, now one of the things that a lot of Sabre members don't know is that when you sign up for Sabre, you're asked to sign up for a chapter. And most folks just pick the chapter that's closest to them. So for me, I would pick the Phoenix chapter, but that doesn't mean that you can't join other chapters. You can join as many chapters as you like. You're always going to have a primary chapter, which is usually your closest one to home, but you can select any chapter that you would like to join. You can also select any research committee that you'd like to join. So most of the chapters here are all listed are in alphabetical order. So if you, for instance, you're scrolling down and you're like, man, I do like the Diamondbacks, or I like spring training. I want to, hear more from what the Arizona chapter is doing. All you have to do is click on this. There's a joint. Actually, my view is a little bit different than yours because I have admin rights. But if you're on this right-hand rail right here, you would search for the group and then just click this join group button, and you would immediately join that chapter. So that means you would get emails, the email newsletters from the chapter, be aware of their events, all that good stuff, and also be able to exchange notes with chapter leadership. So don't be afraid to join multiple groups. I think that's one of the great things about, one of the blessings in disguise of COVID is that all of our chapters have been able to do so many virtual events that you can attend a virtual event literally across the country. So you may be in New York, but you can go to a virtual meeting in Seattle because they've got a good guest, or they're talking about, a great research program or book that they're promoting, or anything along those lines. So it's really brought down the barriers to being more involved with different Sabre chapters. So I'd encourage you to look into different groups. We always post what meetings are coming up. So if you're interested in joining one, it's really easy to do. All right, I'm going to go to some payment information stuff, which is the least fun, but always good to talk about, just so you know where they are. So if you go up to your name here, it says Welcome Scott Carter, and you drop down that menu, and you're going to see this little Invoices tab. So if you click on this Invoices tab, there's a couple things that you'll be able to see. On this Payments and History tab, you'll be able to scroll over all of your outstanding, whether it's membership dues or event registrations. So for me, if you wanted to know when is my membership going to renew, when am I up for renewal, this will show you. This will also show you what your invoice looks like. So most of 99% of all of our members are on auto renewal. So that means unless your credit card information changes or you don't want to be on auto renew, you're going to be renewed automatically when you're up for it. So you don't need to worry about it. But this will show you here when you're due. So you can see my membership is set to renew at the end of the month, and it'll charge the card on file, and I'm good to go. You can also see your event registration. So if you're unsure if you signed up for an event, you can see like, oh, did I sign up for the Women in Baseball Conference? Yes, I did. Did I sign up for the Golden Celebration Series? Yes, I did. You can always email us to make sure. And then your donation history here as well to make sure that your donation went through or things along those lines. Okay. Does anybody have any questions on that before I get into more fun stuff? Nope. Cool. All right. So we're going to go back to the Sabre page, the Sabre homepage here. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about This Week in Sabre, which is our email newsletter that comes out every single Friday afternoon. You can set your watch to it because our director of editorial content, Jacob Pomrenke, is like a machine when he sends it out. So if you haven't received a Sabre newsletter on Friday afternoon, come check on us, because something that means there's probably been a meteor that's stricken Phoenix. So if the Sabre newsletter is basically a one-stop shop for everything that's going on in Sabre. We also post all of our old archives here on the homepage if you missed anything. So I'm going to go over one of these just so you can kind of see what's in the newsletter. You've probably already received one, but just to go over it a little bit more in depth. So if you go to the latest news on our homepage right here in the main down to our newsletter, click on that. It's basically the same exact thing as what is delivered to your inbox. So what we will see is we've got our news of the day. We'll keep scrolling down. News of the day. Here's sign up for the Women in Baseball Conference. So news about events, more news about events. We've always got news about here. We got internships, call for papers if you're a researcher. Bill is our publishing guru, but if we've got a new book to promote, we'll always talk about it in This Week in Sabre. So we actually just last week released a book about the Kansas City Monarchs, the 1942 Negro League champions. More events. And here's a great section on events. So like I was talking about, all these events that are listed here, if they're virtual events, some of our chapters are going back to in-person events already, but if you see a virtual event, you can certainly attend any of these. So if you click on the events calendar, it'll show you how to log, how to register for those events, and you can attend any of them. So if you're sitting there and going like, hey, I would really like to see this meeting with Marty Appel on August 18th with the Florida Gulf Coast chapter, you can attend it. If that's good. Here's August 18th. Here's us right now. We're on this meeting. Very cool. And then scrolling down some more, we've got biographies that we've just published, all these game projects, and we'll get into what a game project is and what a bio project story is. So lots of great stuff. Here's articles from around the web written by Sabre members. So that's always cool when you get to see like, oh yeah, this sports writer is a member of Sabre. Oh, I could reach out to him. You feel a connection with these folks, so you can see all of those articles written by Sabre members across the world. Welcome new members. Hopefully some of you see your names there. Great. So lots of good stuff, and that literally comes out every single week. So there's lots of info to digest, but that is our newsletter. All right. Next, we are going to talk about the Sabre digital library, and I know this is near and dear to Bill's heart. So if you want to jump in, Bill, feel free. But one of the biggest benefits to your Sabre membership is our digital library. So Sabre is producing numerous books every single year that we self-publish, that our members are writing for, that we are editing, that we are compiling. And as a Sabre member, you have the ability to download all of those books electronically, completely free of charge. So we have over, at this point, 80 books in the digital library covering a wide range of topics, every team, every type of era that you can think of. We've got a Sabre book written about it, and you can download those books for free. You can also get 50% off the paperback version. So it's a $17.95 charge, which is half price for one of these paperback books. So all you would need to do to download one of these books, if you go to publications, you'll see the Sabre Digital Library. You'll see our featured publication, which is the Monarchs book that we just put out last week. You'll go down here and there's a big screaming note that says Sabre members, get this ebook for free. And you're like, okay, that's what I want to do. So click that link. Very easy. You will see a bunch of different digital versions of digital versions of how to download these. So I'm going to say I'm going to want a PDF. So you click on that, and then from there, it's basically just an online storefront. Go through there, complete through checkout, and it'll send you a link to download the book. Very easy. So that's just our featured publication. But if you go here to more titles, you will see that we've got a ton of books to choose from. Bill, do you want to touch on any of these? Any of these are your particular favorites over the last couple of years?
Not really. I just throw in at this point that every Sabre member is welcome to contribute to the books. As we start a new book, this could be a way you might want to write up a game. Scott will talk about the games project later, and or a biography, or contribute in one way or another to these books. Can be a real benefit for people that want to do some research and see stuff get published. And we're always looking for new ideas too.
So you'll quickly see it. I mean, there's like every team, every era. We've got books on scouts. We've got books on umpires. We got books on the winter meetings. It touches all facets of baseball as Sabre does. I mean, there's really not a corner of the baseball universe that hasn't been touched by Sabre research. So again, a very, very cool, a cool value for your membership. If you were to download every single one of our books, that's about $750 worth of value. So, it more than pays for your membership. So just keep that in mind as you see new books come online. Okay, we're going to go back out to the homepage, and we're going to dive into the research collection just a little bit. And this is one of the the coolest parts about the Sabre website is that it's completely searchable. So on the main page, if you're interested in reading just about reading anything that we have on a particular player, topic, team, start with this search bar and you can kind of go through and see what we've got. So if we were going to say, let's search for Jackie Robinson and see what we've got on Jackie Robinson. These will pull all the results of every article, every biography, every story that's been written by Sabre members that exist on the website, and you can kind of search that way. Obviously, a player like Jackie Robinson, we've got quite a bit of information, 30 results that return. So always use that research collection search bar if you're looking for something. You can also dive in just by clicking on the research collection, and it breaks it down into kind of major categories. First thing that we'll look at is the Baseball Research Journal. Now, the Baseball Research Journal is Sabre's flagship publication that comes out twice a year. Now, unless you've indicated that you want to receive it electronically, which many people do, you will receive a printed version of this book twice a year. It's a fantastic comprehensive look at the research that's done throughout the year. And like I said, it comes out twice a year. So here's the last one that we put out in the spring of 21. It's got this awesome illustration of Babe Ruth on the cover, and here's all the articles that are included in it. The second publication that, or actually, I'll touch on the archives real quick. You can actually go back and look at all of the archives of the last 50 years of Baseball Research Journal stories. And there's what they all look like. And as Sabre members, you can just dive into these and read all the articles that are included in those past publications. The other big publication that we put out every year is the National Pastime. And this is actually a publication that usually focuses on the town or city where we were having our national convention. This year, since we didn't have an in-person national convention, our National Pastime publication is actually on the future according to baseball. So a really interesting publication with some really, really cool stories about what baseball might look 50 years from now. So it's actually a lot of really, really cool things to look at. This particular publication is delivered to every member once a year as an electronic book. So the other ones are printed. This one is an electronic book, unless you actually attend convention. And then if you attend a convention, you'll get a physical copy of it as well. So again, all the archives of the National Pastime are included on this page. Let's get into the Games Project and the Bio Project, which are two of my favorite things about Saber research, because as Bill mentioned, both of these projects are a great way for new Saber members to get involved if you want to contribute your own research. Now, that does not mean that you need to. That does not mean that we're going to make you do any research. The great thing about Saber is that there's a niche for everyone. So if you are just a consumer of baseball history, you like analytics, you like the stats, you like all the advancements in baseball, there's going to be a place for you. There's going to be people for you to connect with. I think Allison's fond of saying, you got to find your people within Saber, and that's definitely true. But if you do want to get involved and you just kind of don't know how to get your feet wet, these are two great places to start, because you can tackle some, whether it's a favorite player you had growing up that hasn't been written about, or a team or a game that you saw as a kid. It's a great way to get your feet wet. So we'll start with the Games Project. And the great thing about the Games Project and the Bio Project is these have all, the only prerequisite for writing one of these is you actually just need to be a Saber member. So the Games Project, there are really, really in-depth game stories for as many games as you can think of. And we've broken some of them down into some cool, so anytime there's a no-hitter, everybody rushes to this page to see what the last no-hitter was that was thrown. All-star games, you can literally search up right here. So say you don't want to search Dodgers and Cubs. Like, do we have any Dodgers Cubs games? Oh, sure we do. And it's a story about June 26, 1956, when Sal Magley and Rube Walker pitches, and Rube Walker hits the Dodgers past the Cubs. And you can see our game stories aren't just like write-ups in the newspaper. They're super in-depth. They're fantastic reads, and Saber members have written them. So have fun searching those. We've got some cool categories, like I said, up here. Down at the bottom, we've got random games that'll populate if you ever get bored, you just want to read about a random game. Browse by decade, milestones. Hey, I want to check out the game stories for every Miggy Cabrera is about to hit his 500th home run. Let's read about the last few guys that have hit their 500th home runs and what those games look like. Talking about resources for the Games Project, if you want to get involved and write your own game project story, just go to this frequently asked questions page, and it'll literally just kind of run down the list of like, who do you need to contact? What do you need to do? What's the process? Where do I get started? So a great way to get involved if you're interested. The Biography Project is essentially kind of the mirror to the Games Project, but instead of focusing on particular games, it's focused on particular people. And this could be players, could be on the, off the field folks, front office people, umpires, scouts, spouses, you name it. There's some really, really cool biographies in here. So if you come across a biography that hasn't been written, the goal is to do everyone's biography. If you've come across a bio that hasn't been written and you want to write it, there's ways for you to get involved. So again, you can really search for anybody here. You can search within the Bio Project itself. So let's say, who have I searched for before? Let's search for Willie Stargell. And here's Willie's biography, written by Saber member James Four. Great stories, and you can tell it's very, very in-depth about Willie's life, his career, before and after baseball. And again, some great stuff down at the bottom if you want to look for some random bios, or hey, I want to read biographies of all-stars from the 1990s. We got you covered. Here they are. Did you remember that Rick Aguilar was an all-star in the 90s? Wilson Alvarez, speaking of no-hitters. Down at the bottom, the Bio Project also has resources. So if you're looking at getting involved, here's some great, who are we? What do we do? Who's eligible? How do I join? Contact information. Very good stuff about getting started. Allison or Bill, am I missing anything about the bio project or the games project?
I don't think so. I mean, I think what I would reiterate is it's fun to read. If you are interested in getting started with writing or research, the games project is a great place to start. If you have a favorite player, you know, and you look and you're like, why aren't they on here? Write up a bio, you know, reach out, write up a bio project thing. This is designed for people who aren't necessarily researchers at heart. So it's a process where you will be helped every step of the way. It's designed for newer researchers. If you are that academic researcher, you know, you may be more comfortable going to the baseball reference journal, research journal. I always want to call it reference journal, baseball research journal. You know, so there's a place for everybody if you want to write and research, but if you don't, you don't have to. There's hundreds and hundreds of Saber members who've never written anything and just enjoy reading it and talking about the game. So, you know, as Scott said, I always say, find your people and you will have a great time in Saber.
Excellent. Thank you, Allison. Okay, so we're going to make one last stop, and you guys don't have to listen to me talk anymore. We're going to go back up to the homepage. And up here in your, when we go back to this member login here and we go back to this members hub, once you hit this screen, you're going to know that this is basically stuff that only Saber members can see. So this is all the really secret, top secret stuff just for Saber members. So good stuff. You have to be signed in to get into this portion of the website. So we're going to go over here to these research resources. And you click in here, and this is going to give you. We'll come back to these two at the top because they're really popular. But we'll scroll down here, and you can see all of these guides that we've got down here that you can. So archives guides. So we've got literally things from where am I looking for? So get down to Saber defensive index calculations. So if you're a, you know, more of a Sabermetrics bent and you want to see how the gold gloves are calculated, check that out because we are helpful in getting that done. This is one of our biggest databases. It always gets a ton of hits. Anytime anybody has 3 home runs, and we got a big database of every person that's hit 4 or more home runs in a game. Very, very popular. A guide to sabermetric research. So this is popular too. You know, as you all will find out, a lot of people immediately equate Saber with sabermetrics and analytics. And there's certainly a big piece of Saber that deals with that. And we have a big analytics conference every year. But by and large, Saber is usually mostly comprised with folks that love baseball history, that like talking about the different, you know, parts of history, talking about their favorite team, getting into that sort of research. And so there's always different parts of it. Sabermetrics and analytics is just one big piece in this big giant Saber umbrella. So, but this is a great place to start if you're looking to actually do some statistical analytics, which is one of my favorite parts of being a part of Saber. So how to do baseball research, great guide that's always updated. So like we said, if you're interested in doing research, here's a great guide to get started, kind of where to go, what to look for, who to talk to, all that good stuff. We got Little League home runs database. We got minor league no hitters. So there's really a ton of stuff that is available to you that you can check out here in the member resources page. I'm going to scroll all the way back to the top. We're going to talk about 2 really important ones because these actually come included in your membership dues, and they both pay for themselves just by having access to these. So one is the paper of record, and this is going to give you access to the sporting news archives, which obviously the sporting news doesn't exist anymore, but sporting news was one of the biggest baseball publications in the country for a very long time. So if you click here, you'll actually be able to search the archives of the sporting news. It's a little bit tricky. You got to go down here to find where it was published in St. Louis, click on the sporting news, and you can literally just grab years and be like, okay, year 1998, and I'm going to search for Mike Piazza because he was my favorite player growing up. and we'll see what it returns. Great. And we've got archives. Remember these? These are great. These little write-ups of all the teams, what they were up to. You scroll down and it'll highlight all your searches for Mike Piazza. So if you're doing research or just want to like go back and look at some of this stuff, it's a great resource for you. So again, paper of record, exclusive to Sabre members, but it gives you access to all the former sporting news archives. Similarly, newspapers.com, Sabre members have access to the world collection of newspapers.com, which is an annual subscription by itself for $89. So if you were to pay for this by itself, it'd be $89. Obviously, your Sabre dues are much lower than that. So it's another thing that's just paying for your membership right away. So this is a great way. It's got 10,000 newspaper titles here, so you can literally just search here and it'll pull up everything from, like you see, we got the San Bernardino County Sun, the Brooklyn Daily Eagle. It's going to pull up a ton of newspapers from around the world, and you can search those as a research tool. So again, a great resource for Sabre members. Things that are going to give you a lot of value as members. Okay, last thing I want to show you guys and gals. Let's go back to the Sabre homepage, and we're going to click on events. So this is the last thing we'll cover. Sabre is very, very proud of the events that we do. So not only do our local chapters put on monthly events, and those are things that you can attend, and they're very exciting, and our research committees are putting on events. Sabre National out of Phoenix is going to put on a few national conferences every single year. And this events page is a great place to see what's going on and figure out how you can register. As a Sabre member, you will always get a discount on Sabre events. So our next upcoming event is a virtual event. The Women in Baseball Conference will be held less than a month from today. So if you're interested in that, you can just click register and you're off to the races. Our analytics conference will be held in March here in Phoenix. Our Jerry Malloy Negro League Conference will be held next June in Birmingham, Alabama. And then our annual convention, biggest Sabre party of the year, will be held in person for the first time in 2 years in Baltimore and next August. So those are the big major events. But if you scroll down here, you'll see our events calendar, and here is an easy way. This is literally all of our events listed out every single day. So you can click on any of these events. You're like, okay, so tomorrow the Rocky Mountain chapter is having a luncheon. You know, the Georgia chapter is having a luncheon here. You can click through, see a lot of these, see what's virtual, what's not, what you can sign up for. But a great way just to see what's going on within Sabre. All right, I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Congratulations, you've listened to me talk for 45 minutes. And I think everybody's still awake, except for Bill and John, who turned off their video, so they could be sleeping, I don't know. All right, so any questions? And I'll probably direct questions to Bill and Allison so I can drink some water, but any questions, anything that we went over that you have questions on, or things that we didn't? Go ahead, Phil. Go ahead, Phil.
But you do have to unmute like I did.
Mute button. All right, but actually, my son signed me up for the membership as a gift.
What a good guy.
Yes, and I have thoroughly enjoyed it so far. Although what I've received these trivia questions every day, and I know some of them. I don't know a hell of a lot of them. But my question is very basic. How do I sign in, or who can help me sign in? I have no idea what my sign in is. Or do I just sort of set that as I go along?
I will shoot you. I'll make a note to shoot you an email as soon as we hang up this call, and I will help walk you through it because I have all that access. I have access to your account information.
Oh, thank you very much.
No problem.
It's dangerous though once you get in.
One thing I will say is this sort of goes for everybody. If you do run into any trouble with the website or getting into anything, just reach out to somebody at National and they will help you. I had a horrible time getting into newspapers.com and then had somebody else have a horrible time. And you reach out to them, they will walk you through what you need to do. Mine was a big mess because I've used it before and a whole lot of stuff, but you know, don't be afraid to ask. That's what we're here for.
And people do ask. It's a rare that a day goes by that some Sabre member doesn't ask one question of one kind or another of me.
Same.
And that's fine. I like it.
I have
Ellen?
a question. Yeah, I'm deeply involved in summer college baseball. I'm actually joining the ownership group of our local team. And I'm wondering if there's an opportunity to, you know, in one of your groups to talk about this, because what I find is most fun is now I know about the White Sox because Andrew Vaughn is playing for them and he used to play for us. And Nick Pivetta used to he pitched the first game in our history. So I'm following all these different teams and I think it's sort of fun. And I would like to, you know, wondered if there were other people around that were following the old West Coast League. And it's not old, it's still
You know,
there.
what's funny, so do you know Rob Nyer?
No.
So Rob Nyer, I believe, is the commissioner of the West Coast League.
Yeah, I'm just really new. I've not been confirmed yet. The league has to approve it. I paid my money, but the league hasn't approved it yet.
So to show you what a small world this is, so Rob Nyer is the commissioner of the league. He actually does our weekly podcast. He's the host of Saber's podcast. So
that's awesome.
It's a very, very small world. So what I would suggest is, one, you might want to reach out to leadership with the Pacific Northwest chapter and see if they've got speakers lined up for upcoming meetings, because they're always going to be looking for speakers and kind of to talk about the league. I would reach out to Rob for sure.
Okay.
I also think, Scott, I think there's a research committee that is summer collegiate ball or something around that you may want to join.
Perfect.
That would be, it's not just gonna be West Coast, but it'd be people with the same interest.
Perfect. Yeah,
Yeah,
because I've
there is
written
a-
about
there is a
hockey
collegiate-
history, but not baseball yet.
There is a collegiate baseball research committee.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's what I
perfect.
thought.
So you
Perfect.
becoming part of ownership makes you what used to be called a magnate.
Oh,
Yeah.
it just makes me passionate. That's
Yeah.
all. Okay. Awesome. Thank you.
No. Any other questions? Well, like I said, if you hang up and you think of something, you know, feel free to put my email address in the chat. If you have any other questions, feel free to shoot me an email, give me a call. Allison and Bill, anybody on the board or the staff is always going to be available to help. But more than anything, welcome to Saber. We hope you enjoy the organization as much as we all do. Make friends. Let us know if we can help, but we're here to celebrate baseball with you. And we'll see you at the next Saber event. All right, everybody, you're off the hook. Go enjoy your evening. Thanks for being here, guys.
Thank
Take
you.
care.
Thanks, everybody.